Everybody, it's the 25th of July, and it's Monday. Did I say it's Monday? It's Monday. I'm in the office. I'm happy about being in the office. It's an exciting time because there's air conditioning, and I have computers, and I have all of you to talk to. I've actually been looking forward to speaking with you because I had a long weekend. I was on the radio on the weekend. I went down to the studios at Zoomer Radio and hung out with those guys for an hour. Did their show called Dave's Corner Garage, which is awesome. Now, Zoomer Radio may not be on everybody's playlist because it's really an older demographic, but it was a good time, and we'll do that again. Usually, I just phone in. It was the first time being in studio for that show. Been in Zoomer Radio for other shows, but it was very cool. And then, of course, we made a video about catalytic converters that upset some people. They don't agree. That's up to them, but they don't agree with the opinions expressed on this channel. And that's all right, because you don't have to agree with what we have to say. Just know that when we say it, we're trying to give you the best information possible. And if you choose to ignore that advice, well, then you get the rewards, whatever comes with that. So if you choose to break the law, you get the tickets. That's on you. We give you the information. You do what you want with it. When it comes to catalytic converters, spoke to Brian Max. He's a race car driver. He gave you his opinion and his information. Some people said, that's cap. You don't like it, you don't have to abide by it. Just know that it's illegal to take them off, so regardless whether you agree with what he said, it's still illegal. Yeah, that's a thing. Hey, if you are watching and you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live on social media answering your traffic and police questions. It's kind of my thing. We do it for an hour, Monday to Friday, 10 to 11, and you can get your questions in advance. You can actually get your questions in at any time during the show by going to trafficcop.ca. That will take you directly to our Volley space. It's a community space where you can ask questions 24/7. I either answer you directly in the app or I will wait till the Monday or the next day. Like I had someone who sent me a question and I put it on hold. I said, yeah, I'm going to answer this during the show. And that's exactly what I want to do. So let me go into my Volley app and I will bring that up. Q&A like. Let's see here. It says here.
A vehicle if you're going like 1 mile over the speed limit or like 5.
Let me play it again because I think I cut it off.
Can you pull over a vehicle if you're going like 1 mile over the speed limit or like 5?
So the question being is, can a police officer pull you over if you're going 1 to 5 kilometers over the speed limit? And the answer is, of course, yeah, you're speeding, you're breaking the law. And I'll answer them directly in the app as well because I do that. But you are only allowed to go the speed limit, and anybody going over it, guess what? You are breaking the law. I know you might not get pulled over for it on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but it could be Thursday, it could be your day, and breaking the law is breaking the law. There is no discount. The dollar amount associated with is associated with a speed, but the offense is speeding. So 1 kilometer over is still speeding. The number of points you get start at 16 kilometers over when you start getting your 3 demerit points. Below at 15 or below, you don't get demerit points in Ontario. What does that mean? You're still speeding. Your insurance will still go up on conviction. It doesn't change anything. What does change is whether you get points. Okay. Here's a question. Oh, hey, if you are interested in becoming a police officer, if you'd like more information about becoming a police officer, know that we are currently hiring. You can go to tps.ca/careers. That will get you all the information you'd ever want to know and more about being a member of the Toronto Police Service, whether it be as a police officer, parking officer, special constable, you name it. We have lots and lots of jobs that we hire people for. We have civilian jobs and uniform jobs, and they're all good jobs, and we're a good place to work. Leo wife, good morning. My wife is watching on YouTube and says good morning, and good morning to you too. And what is important about mentioning the fact that aside from my magical wife is watching, but she's watching on YouTube. This is being simulcast on Instagram Live, TikTok, and if I look over on this camera, because we have 3 of them here, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course Twitter. Now Twitter, if you are watching, we love you, but you can't actually ask us questions because Twitter done broke it. You can, however, jump onto any one of the other platforms, and if you want to get that special access, then by all means come and check it out. Come and say hello and on Volley app. Volley app is a platform that allows you to send text, voice, or let me change that order. It's video, voice, or text because they prioritize everything is really best in video. So you want to send me a video message, you want to send me a voice message. Of course, you can also send attachments. You can send text messages. But if you play voice or video, we'll play it, the voice or video on the screen. Okay, a question, actually not a question, but Tomato Cultivator 42 says, I saw you at Costco yesterday. Were you the Costco hello that we spoke, or you just saw me? Because I was approached by someone when I was picking up food. We had dinner. I got gas at Costco, and then I decided we're just going to eat there because how do you beat like $1 hot dog for dinner? Super carcinogen healthy, but you know what? That's what I had for dinner, and I met some folks who watch us while I was in line. It was awesome. And again, the continuation was, you look taller than you do on camera, which is the number one comment made. Something to mention, and thanks for the reminder. I was going to get to it eventually. Vision Zero Enforcement Team. Does anyone know what that is? That's a dedicated group of officers who go out throughout the city, changing driving behavior one ticket at a time. They don't hand out hugs. There's no warnings. It is tickets all day long. Why? Because they want to make the road safer for everybody. What do they look for? They look for the big four. Those are the offenses of speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. And guess what? They go where they're needed most. They're told by the big brain people who do the analysis of things, and they determine what areas they need to focus on. Today, they are in 31 Division and 43 Division, the areas of Black Creek, or I should say neighborhoods of Black Creek, Humbermead, Glenfield, Downsview, Bendale, Woburn, Highland Creek, West Hill, and Guildwood. Because saying divisions doesn't really resonate with residents. They may know their police division, or maybe they don't. And this is talking about the actual neighborhoods where real people live. Baby Yoda, what are we talking about? Baby Yoda's what a great username. And you got it with all the special icons in there too. Okay, let's have a look-see. I got some questions that have been prepared for me. And I say that because I don't see the chat. Q&A, which I'll double-check, is still broken. Yeah, it's still broken. Why TikTok? Why are you still broken? And it seems to be a targeted thing. It's a targeted attack against myself and other police members here because my personal account works. A Q&A works on VoiceOver Cop. I can host a live and it just works. But when I'm on the traffic services account, no bueno. Q&A is not working and nobody's responding in tech support anymore. Oh, well, we're using Volley app for questions. That's how we're going to get past the hump. But I do have help from moderators. They're magical folks who volunteer their time to help support me in what I do here for you. And this really is about you. For anyone who thinks that we're here talking for our own benefit, no. We're here to answer your questions because that's important. You're important. Yeah. All right, let's talk about these questions that are in here. Do you need a degree to become a police officer? At one point, they were. It's always better to have a degree because it's a competitive process. So the more competitive you are on paper, the higher the chances of you being hired. But grade 12 is the minimum education requirement for officers in Ontario. And that can change. I mean, obviously, if you're competing against somebody who has a university degree, you will have to be showing why you are equivalent or better than that person if there was only one job. Very competitive, but we are still accepting applications from those who do not have a university degree. Obviously, you want to be the best candidate you can be. You want to be a volunteer in your community, showing your commitment. You want to be being educated, and life experience is a big deal. Life experience is huge. So you may not have a degree, but maybe you've been a specialist in some industry and you have special skills to offer. So don't discount yourself. Is it legal to cross a solid line when there is no traffic coming the other way? So the deal is this. Lines painted on the road themselves are not enforceable in Ontario. Other provinces may have different rules. I know that other provinces and states do enforce lines. We don't because there's nothing under law that makes it illegal to cross. So they are there as a warning. A solid line says you shouldn't because there's either a lack of view or they just don't want it to happen for whatever reason. If you choose to cross that line, you are responsible for what happens when you do it, but you won't get a ticket for simply crossing the line. Okay, we have Peter Gallagher coming in from YouTube who says, regards to red light, can you get one of the light changes red while vehicle is in middle of the intersection? So we're talking, I think, about red light cameras, and can you get a red light ticket if you are in the intersection when it turns red? So as long as you enter the intersection lawfully, now that would be if you were going through the intersection on a green, waiting to make a left turn, for instance, and it turned yellow and then red, and you were still in the intersection, you were obligated legally to exit that intersection, but you couldn't get a red light running ticket because it wasn't red when you entered it. So in order for you to get a ticket for an amber light fail to stop, that's when you hit that gas and go through a yellow light, because yellow means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. Same thing for red. So as long as you aren't crossing that stop bar when the light has already changed, you're okay. You enter the intersection lawfully, and then you're obligated to exit it. I hope I answered your question the way you were looking for it. Red light cameras also don't trigger unless you're specifically crossing on a red light. And since I'm looking here, tickets from the officer. So so Peter clarifies and says tickets from officer. So if you're in the intersection when it turns red, an officer should not be writing you a ticket for running a red light, because you would have had to have crossed the red light. You can get failed to clear signalized intersection. That's a charge if you don't get out in time because you've entered when you shouldn't have, and now you're stuck creating gridlock. That's an offense. Peter apologizes. He is still on coffee number 1. I too am on coffee 1, but I redeemed some points, so I got the biggest coffee that points can buy. Because if it's all, it doesn't matter if you get a small or a large. It's a coffee, so I get the biggest one. And I learned that from Sergeant Kulik. She schooled me in the ways of points redemption. Okay, and Conky says, I see trailer hitch mounted bike racks on cars obstructs the rear license plate. Is there a quick fix for that? I would say zip ties. If you are relocating your license plate frame, and you should if you're blocking it with your bicycle carrier, you have to relocate it. And you also, if driving at night, you must illuminate your rear plate. That is a requirement under law. Okay. Talked about that. For parking enforcement officers, you still need a physical test. I believe they do. I do not know what the process is for parking enforcement. However, again, if you go to tps.ca/careers, everything you ever wanted to know is there. I don't think they have the same requirement. It might be lesser, but there's likely some level of physical, testing. What is this? If you have an upgraded license, does the lowered BAC still apply if you're driving a G-Class vehicle? Depends what you say upgraded license. So let's say you have a motorcycle learner's permit, an M1, and you have a G. The zero, and I should also specify that you are 22 years or older. If you are in your G qualified vehicle, or a vehicle requiring a G license to operate it, the M designation for zero BAC wouldn't apply because you're driving a G-Class vehicle. But if you were on your motorcycle, you would then have to have a zero BAC. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let me know if it doesn't, and we'll try it from a different angle. But I think we got it. Let's look at Instagram for a question. Did Toronto cops ever hang the badges on the front of the uniform? If so, when did it end? I am not aware of police officers in Toronto ever having anything other than hat badges. Maybe like early days of Bobby hat style 100 years ago. I'm not aware of any day. We have a museum, and I can consult with them to find an answer, but I'm not aware of that. For as long as I have been a member of the service and been aware of the service, hat badges is where the badge went. Right there. Never on the uniform. Hamilton, I think, has gone to a badge worn on the uniform, and the American services are very much chest badge. We've never done it. Okay. What do we got here? I think we're good. Let's go back into the queue. And just a good morning to Tracy Bell popping in from LinkedIn. Good morning to you. What is this? How can a cop be hands-free when they're constantly touching computer and phone? Well, they're not, but they're exempt. So police, fire, and ambulance vehicle operators are exempt from the laws specific to utilizing handheld communication devices. They can, in fact, use their police radio, their cell phone, and or their computer, because it's accepted that they need vital information for officer safety, as well as in order to function in the job that they're doing. It's a requirement. Also, another exemption is for ham radio. Amateur radio operators are exempt under that. There's a couple of others, but ultimately, we prefer not to use our devices, but when it cannot be avoided, we are legally permitted to. Is chameleon tint illegal? Chameleon tint is reflective. You can't see through. You can see, I believe, out it, but not in it. Chameleon tint on any one of the front three windows would be completely illegal. You can't have anything on the windshield in Ontario, and the windows left and right of the driver cannot have reflective tint and cannot obscure the interior of the vehicle. Additionally, they cannot restrict any more than 30% of the light blockage. You have to have 70% of light coming through. And Tracy confirms Hamilton does indeed have chest badges. Can confirm. Thank you very much. This is always a good question. Can a Metrocop pull you over on a highway other was around? Can a Metrocop pull you over on the highway or the other was around? I don't know the out or the other was around bit. That's throwing me off. However, yes, a police officer in Ontario, whether they be a police officer in the city of Toronto, Hamilton, they have police powers everywhere they go. Will we pull someone over for traffic stops in other jurisdictions? Generally speaking, we're not in other jurisdictions. And if we are there, we're there for a specific purpose. But do we have the authority to stop you? Yes, we do. And highways, side roads, doesn't matter. Can I lane split on my motorbike in Canada? No. Lane splitting is careless driving. And I should say Canada is different province to province, as the states are different state to state. Different laws, different places. Today I was behind a lovely little Vespa scooter that was lane splitting. I was waiting for that person to get squished horribly. It was terrifying. But they just, they were with Quebec plates too. They had Quebec plates driving in here, just driving, riding. No care in the world. Yeah, it was not good. Very, very dangerous things I was watching that person do. I'm sure they don't agree, but it's careless driving to be lane splitting in Ontario. They talked about lane filtering being permitted at one point and discussions, and ultimately it's not safe. Hey, if you're new to the channel and you don't follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., sometimes from 9:30, depending if we're hopping onto our friends' radio stations to discuss stuff and things. But ultimately, if you have questions, we have answers. That's what we do here at Ask a Traffic Cop. We answer your traffic and police questions. Very often I am joined by guests, either police officers or other specialists in the industry that pop in to say hello and talk about stuff and things and help to be resources for you, because we just want to get you good information. If you are watching and what else? Did I already introduce myself? I said what we do here and why we're here, but my name is Sean Shapiro. Did you know that? Yeah, I'm a police officer. I do this. I'm usually the face you see. There was something I was going to talk about, but it's escaped my mind. Let me scroll back here and see if I had some notes. Let me check Volley. Oh yeah, Volley. If you are trying to jump the queue, Volley app is the way to do it. Trafficcop.ca will get you into our Volley space. Our Volley space is a that's our Volley space. Yeah, right there. And there's a Q&A section. And if you ask us questions, we will share answers. If you are at a dead stop and hit the car in front of you from the vehicle that hits you from behind. Okay, so this is that bump. So very often when we investigate collisions, we'll ask drivers, how many times did you feel impact? Was it once and then, or was it twice? Ultimately, the vehicle that hits the last vehicle in the chain and starts a chain reaction of collisions, they're going to be responsible. They caused it. But this is one of the reasons you want to give yourself enough space in front. You don't want to stop on the person's bumper in front of you. You want to give yourself a car length in between. Additionally, you want to make sure you keep your foot on the brakes. A lot of people stop their cars and just hang out or don't pay attention, go off into la la land. You want to be actively paying attention to what's going on. But that's the answer. Ultimately, the person in the back is at fault. They may go through insurance companies, might subrogate. They may say that each vehicle is at fault for the vehicle in front of them, and then they all work it out. But ultimately, the person in the back, if they cause the entire chain of collisions, is responsible. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. We're going to come to that in a second. I'll just answer it now. Don't you get bored answering the same questions every day? You know what? Sometimes the questions evolve, and sometimes they stay the same. And no, I don't have a problem answering it, because it's a different audience. A different person is getting the benefit of the answer every day. And yeah, sometimes it's on rerun, and sometimes we hit the little horn because it's a hint question or something to make light of it. But at the end of the day, you need to know the answers, and we're here to answer them. So no, I also had a grandparent who had dealt with dementia, and I got used to answering the same questions every day. And it's, you know what? It's for your benefit, not for me. Good morning, Ryan Pinn. It's a while since we've seen you. He says, hi there, had a student no-show, so I decided to join my favorite TO cop. Well, thanks very much, brother. It's been a while. Ryan Pinn is a driving instructor out in Nova Scotia, and it used to be like every day, but now he's busy. His schedule is bumping up. It's the teaching time. So we chat, and it's always interesting to hear about how Nova Scotia law is different than Ontario law. So we talk about stuff. And Peel Police from 11th Division in the chat saying hello. Good morning to you. And I see Chase is here too. Oh, he says, dang, Peel Police in the chat. Yeah, what's going on? It's a party. It's always a party. And, it's this ability to bring everybody together and chat about stuff and things that are important to you. I love it. I love it. Okay. Good morning. Can't renew my license plates due to the 407. What is the fine if I get stopped? Well, if you don't renew your plates, it's $110 for not having your plates renewed. You have to pay your debts to the 407. If you have to, what's it called? If you don't agree with them, then you need to challenge them, but you need to take some action. And right now, your vehicle is not authorized to circulate, which is what they would say in Quebec. But you're not allowed to drive your vehicle. Your plates are not valid. Okay. Do you got a signal going into a roundabout? Into a roundabout, no. It's the flow of the road. It just ends up there. But exiting a roundabout, yes, you do. You have to signal that change. And think about it. Everyone knows you're going into it, but nobody knows when you're getting out. And since the next person who sees you in the roundabout needs to yield to you in the roundabout, it is a courtesy beyond a requirement to tell them what you're planning on doing. So don't just drive around the roundabout with your signal on. That's useless. But signal your intention to exit the roundabout. It'll help people. Plan their entrance as you plan your exit. Yeah. Chase just popped in with we got K Short too. Sergeant. Oh, question is Sergeant Robin Lanigan, Toronto Police. Heard of him? Yeah, I have heard of him. I know him. Are you him? Is this a coded message? Are you he? Oh, hold on, let me back this up. And I should probably put it on normal speed too. I can play back things at high speed, and it really makes my life easy when I'm going through tons of messages. But for you, it might sound funny.
I've seen police officers like throw on the siren for kids, like when they're waving their hands out the window or something. Is that unnecessary noise, or is that like a department thing that's allowed?
You know what? We do a lot of things to make kids smile and have positive interactions. Now, technically speaking, is it unnecessary noise? Probably. We're chirping our siren. Well, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that making children happy is necessary sometimes when you have the authority to do it. But we wouldn't want to do that in the middle of the night and wake people up. And at a certain point, I think it would become excessive. But we do a lot of things, like I said, a little chirp, a little lights. Usually it's the lights more than the siren. Yeah. Now, operating on the highway, less good than if we were pulled over, like a Honda Indy, for instance, when we hit the sirens. I unplugged the siren on our police motorcycle for the very reason is I didn't want to have hearing loss as a result of it. There was enough noise going on. And our friends at the MTO and the OPP, they had their sirens active. And sometimes when someone presses that button more than once, you get very irritated very quickly. Just saying. Love you guys over at MTO and the OPP, but unplug your sirens next time. Okay. Hello, is a criminology degree an advantage to have when applying to become an officer? Any degree is an advantage. Take things that you want to take. Criminology is great, and it will obviously be very relevant to what you're doing in a police service environment. But is it a requirement? More so than anything? I think that if you had a degree in knitting, it would be a degree, and ultimately how you articulate yourself as why that's helpful to you and to the world at large is probably up to you. I don't know how the hiring works when it comes to how many points 8th degree title changes. So what I would suggest is contact a recruiter, www.tps.ca/careers. Talk to one of our recruiters. They're dying to help you. They want lots of good candidates to come and apply. Give them a call. They would love to hear from you. Okay. How many cars at a time in an intersection during a left turn legally? I don't think it's specified anywhere under the HTA to specify how many can be in there. Obviously, they have to be in there safely, and if they're in there and there's nowhere for them to go and they get caught, they're going to be looking at a ticket for fail to clear signalized intersections. So it has to be safe. There's no number, though. Okay, here's some questions coming in from Instagram. If I'm on a one-lane... Let me read this. If I am on a one lane and a bike lane road, can I pull to the bike lane if an emergency vehicle needs to get by me? Emergency situations are different than anything else. So yes, you are not legally allowed to drive or park in a bike lane. However, if you're getting out of the way for a police vehicle, ambulance, fire vehicle, what have you, yes, it would be okay to get into that bicycle lane. You have to still be careful, and a bicycle should stop too. So they shouldn't be going anywhere because they are under the same obligation under the HTA to slow down, move over, and stop at the closest edge of roadway or curb. So yeah, you are good to pull over to the far. Now, once the police vehicle or emergency vehicle passes you, you get out. Yeah, that would be it. Okay, moving along. Just a little bit of advice coming in from Ryan Pinn. The other day, I left my lunch in the car, pizza pops, while teaching in a class. They were fully cooked by lunchtime. Don't leave pets and children in the car. Don't leave pets, children, adults, elderly. Don't leave anybody or anything you care about in a motor vehicle on a hot day. Even on a cool day, it takes very little effort for pizza pops to blow up. It does terrible things to people's brains and ability to. It's very, very, very fast, the increase in temperature inside of a vehicle. Solar load and all that jazz does bad things. And if you love the people that you're keeping track of, don't leave them there because bad things happen. We've seen tragedies for years. We continue to see tragedies every year. People who are left behind in a car for just a minute, even with the windows down a crack, bad things happen. If you do see someone in distress, someone who's not responsive, call 911. It is an emergency. Okay. Do red light cameras ticket those who break a red left turn signal? Red left turn signal. If you cross the line on a red, you get a red light ticket, period. If you cross it, if someone comes to a complete stop and makes the right, stopping and then making a right, you won't get a red light ticket because you didn't run it. You stopped and made sure you were doing the legal turn. But if you are making a turn, if you fail to stop for a red light, that's when you get the ticket. We already talked about this one. I'll just clear it out of the queue. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, slow it is. Slow it is. All right, let's keep on going. I always get this question. I don't know why it's such a popular question. Is it illegal to accelerate fast off at a red light if you are not exceeding the speed limit? So it depends. If you're squealing your tires, that's stunt driving. If you accelerate quickly and you're causing people to jump out of your way or affecting the safe operation of other vehicles, could be careless driving. It's obviously not smart. Acceleration is something you do on the racetrack or to get on the highway. It's not something you should be doing on city roads. If you accelerate quickly and make a left turn in front of somebody, like to make your left turn, that's stunt driving. So drive cooperatively. Know that everyone's making decisions based on what is expected behavior on the road. And if you're going to hit that gas and do something completely out of character, people are going to make mistakes, and it could very well lead to collisions, which you would then be very responsible for, or at least jointly responsible for, depending on the situations. Every investigation takes a different turn. It's all individual. If you are watching us on Instagram, please use the Q&A feature. It's the only way that I'm going to see it. I don't read the chat. I just see the Q&A. If that's the question mark in the bubble. If you are watching us on TikTok, I would have loved to have told you the same thing. Use the Q&A, but it's broken. It has been for well over a month. It broke when I went on vacation. Maybe that's what it is. They got upset that I went on vacation and they broke it. So, yeah, if Q&A doesn't work anymore on TikTok, for us anyway, other people in my personal account, it does. Don't get me started, even though I start myself up all the time about this. Really bugs me. If you want to ask us questions on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, let me say it again. YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, or Facebook, just add it into the comments. It'll come right to us. We have this wonderful screen using Restream. It comes into one screen. We see everything. But if you're on Twitter, you got to use Volley. Volley app, to get to us, you can go to trafficcop.ca. It'll forward you to the Volley page. You can get that on iOS, Android, or PC or Mac. They have apps for everything. Or actually, even the web will just take you there. All right, moving along. Lane splitting on motorcycles. Asked, how are you? I see a question mark. How did that work? I see a Q&A question mark as though Q&A was working. However, we didn't get your Q&A and we have no field or access to the Q&A. Annoyed. Okay. But lane splitting is not legal in Ontario, even though I saw that stream by in the chat. Does anyone see the box? How did that person see the Q&A box? I don't know. Okay. What happens here? A whole bunch of stuff just popped in. Okay, going back. Scrolling. Okay. Is it true that an M2 licensed rider can drive a G-Class license with G1 restrictions? It's an M-Class, not M2, but an M-Class for sure. I don't think M2 gives you that privilege, but an M-Class license can drive a G-Class vehicle as though they had a G1. Yeah, with supervision of a licensed driver. And the same thing goes for when you talk about big rigs. If you're with if you have a G-Class license and you're driving an I think it's an A-Class, you can be supervised. Like, that's driving school. Like that's how that would work. Hiya, why do cops touch the back of vehicles upon a traffic stop? That's a whole evidence continuity thing. It's not something we really do here, but it's in the States that's very popular. They'll walk up, touch it in case that person runs away. They get it later. They say, yeah, I know exactly where I touched it. It's my fingerprint, and that's continuity. That's the vehicle I stopped to, then fled the scene, so they could then pursue and lay charges and whatnot. Sean, this is coming in from Arcel. Is it Arcelin? Arcel? I don't know. Okay, trying to say the name, I don't know. So, hey, Sean, I have a question for you. If I had my G1 and it expired after 5 years, I just got my G1 again, do I have to wait a year again to do my G2? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to. I don't know if they give you credit for the first 5 years of your G1 or not, and you need to check with the MTO on that. But it's a fantastic question that I don't have an answer for, so my apologies for that. But I would check with drivetest.ca or the folks at MTO. They would be able to help you. Okay. Is it true you can get a ticket if you leave a hitch on a truck? I'm not aware of any ticket out of the HTA that would provide you the opportunity to be ticketed for leaving your ball in. Now, save and except for if it's blocking your license plate. If you're blocking your license plate, because on a trailer you have a plate on your trailer, so blocking it's not an issue. However, by blocking your license plate by the ball when there is no trailer, that would be a license plate ticket. Okay, what happens if you drive a dirt bike on a pedestrian trail? Dirt bikes, being gas-powered, are prohibited from use on pedestrian trails or roads. I don't know the specific offense. I would say it's prohibited vehicle? Yeah, I don't know. Depends on where it is. I mean, dirt bikes are prohibited everywhere except for dirt bike trails and tracks, whereas ATVs can be on the road. They can't be on pedestrian trails because they're for pedestrians. They're parks. So it might be a bylaw situation. Motor vehicle, I'm going to say it's the signs entering most parks say no motorized vehicles. So it'll probably be a bylaw based on that sign. Can't renew plates. What's the fine if stopped? $110 if your plates are not valid. Please answer this. Does zero BAC for commercial drivers include personal vehicles? No. It wouldn't include your personal vehicles. It only includes... So there's a restriction under... When you're operating a commercial motor vehicle, your specialized enhanced license says that you can't have any alcohol while operating those vehicles, but that doesn't apply to your G-Class series. Same as if you had a learner's permit that says BAC on your motorcycle, you had an M1, but you were driving a G, and you had a full G and over 22 or over 21, so you're 22 or older, then you'd be able to have something, although we still suggest zero BAC forever. Always the best option. Angie Cakes says, just wanted you to know you're the best, and I appreciate you for keeping us safe. I'm keeping you educated. You keep you safe by doing what we talk about here. But thank you very much. I do my best to share information, keep everyone educated, up on the same page, answer questions so you know what's up. But it's up to you when you choose to drive, how you drive, and if you're doing the right thing, that's awesome. You're doing your part to make it safer for everybody. So thank you, Angie Cakes. Okay. If you're impaired and riding a horse, is that considered impaired driving? No, impaired driving needs to be a motor vehicle, although that's great. The horse may have horsepower, but it's not a motor vehicle, and it rides. It does its own thing. You can tell it what to do, and maybe it'll listen. So no impaired driving charges for operating a horse. And most people can't. I don't think. Can you tell a horse what to do? Like really, if it wants to tell you something, who's going to win? It's bigger than you. Okay. What happens when you pull someone over with a junior license past 11 p.m.? I don't know what a junior license is. Maybe you can shed some light. Do you mean like a learner's permit? And what's the 11 p.m. thing? Where are you? Because that's not something that jives with anything in Ontario. But I'm now intrigued. If you get a roadside suspension, is the cop supposed to handcuff you? A roadside suspension? What's the roadside suspension for? Are you being arrested, or are you just... Okay, generally speaking, if you are stunt driving or whatnot and you're simply being charged under the Highway Traffic Act, we probably won't handcuff you. So no, I need to know more about the information. I've never handcuffed someone for speeding. Now, if there's other things, like I'm charging you or investigating you for impaired operation, I'm going to take you back to the station to provide a breath sample, yeah, I'm going to arrest you. That involves handcuffs. So it depends. I need more information to give you a fully fleshed out answer there. Michael Bradley sends an image on a volley. I'm going to check that out. Let's see what the image says. The image is no longer available, or maybe it's still uploading. He's sending a volley. Okay. we'll check it out. If I fight with my wife, can I drink on my driveway in my car? No, you cannot. Regardless of why you want to drink in your car, drinking in your car on your driveway constitutes impaired operation, even if you're not driving the vehicle. You can be arrested there. It's also against the law to consume alcohol in a car, parked or otherwise on the road or not. The only vehicle you can really drink in is your motorhome. If you're parked, it's not a vehicle. It's a special. Good morning, Aaron. Aaron's back. Welcome. We've missed you. Aaron Urquhart, who you may know as TPS Bikeheart, TPS_Bikeheart, also the driving force behind Parking TPS. And Q sends you a happy belated birthday. Thank you. She says thank you. What's that? Oh, yes. She had an oopsie-doo. I saw pictures of casts and whatnot. So that's a sprained ankle is my understanding of what happened. Okay. Here's a question. Okay. So we have a question here about, can I pause this? What is permitted and not permitted in terms of muffler and suspension modifications on G-Class vehicles? So it really is, you have to have a muffler. It must meet the grade in terms of what's legally required to be on the road in Ontario. I believe 74 decibels is the maximum noise generated at idle. When you talk about taking them off or straight piping, those are just prohibited. You don't have a muffler; it's not legal. You have to have a resonator, from my understanding. And if you're creating unnecessary noise, regardless of what kind of vehicle it is, you can be charged under the Highway Traffic Act without a decibel meter. Just unnecessary noise, anything that isn't required in the safe operation of a motor vehicle in terms of noise, whether it be your stereo, your horn, or your exhaust. You can get a $110 ticket for that. Suspension modifications, you can't have any tire rub. You can't now tire rub to frame or body. You have to have a functioning suspension system. It has to be part of it. We're going to go look at that. And when we compress your suspension, you can't have any tire rub or contact. We'll also have you go lock to lock. There are additional safety measures, like you can't have, your vehicle can't be so low that your headlights are with, I don't remember the measurement, I have to look up the guide, but there's a maximum lowering that would create the center of your headlight to be too low. That's against the rules. You can't have it too high either. So, yeah, look at the light. Is it the Light Truck and Passenger Vehicle Inspection Guide? That would be a good source. You can Google that. It'll tell you all the details. Okay. Oh, Case Short has a additional question. Maybe we'll leave that for later. What is it? What is the question? I'll come back to it. But asking, it was a personal message. That's why. Okay. What's this question here? Question is, in terms of policing, can you take out an insurance policy on someone else's car? Like, for example, my mom's car is registered. Can I have insurance policy in my name with her VIN number? So that's would it be acceptable to the police? Yeah, the police probably won't care. It's the insurance companies that may or may not permit it. But I've heard of that happening. I just don't know the ins and outs of it. As long as you provide us proof of insurance, I don't think it matters what name is associated with it. It's the VIN number. It's it's that vehicle and the ownership. Yeah. Now, chances are you would be better off, and this is an opinion thing, getting the person who owns the vehicle to insure it, and then you be listed as a driver. That would probably avoid a lot of confusion, but I don't know if there's any requirement for the insurance company. Yeah, it's going to be up to the insurance company, I think. Do people still put hydraulics in their cars to make them bounce? I've seen cars that do that, the bag suspension and silliness. I don't think I've seen many of them. I've seen some, but most of those cars, even with the bag suspension, if they've chopped the safeties, those are going to be prohibited from the road. They're unsafe. Okay. Is the high beam legal? If not, then why do people use the beam and use high beams and police don't stop them? So high beams are legal as long as you're not approaching another vehicle within 150, I believe, or 180 meters, and you can't be behind another vehicle within similar distances. It's either 150 or 180. And yeah, they're legal. That's why they're there. They're part of driving. But when people are using them improperly, then they get tickets for improper headlights. Now, if you are people tend to put their high beams on when they have a bulb burnt out. Well, they have the bulb that's in improper headlights because you need two of them in Ontario. So if one burns out, people say, just drive with the high beams on. Well, that's also improper, so that's a different ticket. Do they always get noticed? No, they don't. If you're looking at people who don't even turn on their headlight system, but their daytime running lights are on, those are your high beams in most cases. They're just on a low power mode, so they're improperly directed, and that's improper headlights. What is this? Once I saw a Rolls Royce in a parking lot, back Ontario plates, front big R plates, antique plate. So if it's an antique vehicle, I believe they only need a rear plate issued, and then they can have their year plate, their antique year plate on the front. That's my understanding. Okay, need a sip of my Curfy. Okay. What happens if it goes from amber to red within a left turn lane at a red light camera? If you've entered the intersection prior to it turning red, the red light camera will not trigger. If you are entering the intersection on an amber, a police officer might choose to give you a ticket because you're not allowed to go through an amber unless it's unsafe to do so. So if you were traveling to an intersection on a green and last minute it turns red, it's unsafe for you to hammer down, lock up your brakes. There's no way feasibly you've passed that point of no return, and that is when an amber light is something you can travel through. Otherwise, you need to stop. Amber means stop. Yellow for anyone who's saying, what's this amber business? Angela says, please do not spam. Thank you. Yes, please don't spam. If you're in the chat, know that there's many people in the chat, and if you ask the same question repeatedly or talk about gobbledygook, you're just making the experience less good for everybody else. And for anyone who wants to ignore the chat entirely, use Q&A on the Volley app, which is trafficcop.ca, to get you there. Now, it may be difficult for those who are using one device only, but it is a way to do it. You can bounce out, bounce back in. We also answer in the app later. After the show, I'll go back and re-answer by way of video to all the questions that I got there. All right, what happens? We talked about that. I notice you use stunt driving as a term for several things. Is that new or just a rev of old info? Stunt driving is a law in Ontario that covers many different things, like different activities. For instance, if you do 40 over in a zone that has a speed limit under 80, that's stunt driving. You lose your vehicle for 14 days, you lose your license for 30. It's stunt driving laws. If you're doing 50 over in an area that has an 80 kilometer an hour or above speed limit, that's stunt driving. If you go over 150 anywhere, it's stunt driving. If you drift or do burnouts, that's stunt driving. If you jackrabbit start, where you make a left turn in front of traffic coming the other way, that's stunt driving. If you travel with someone in your trunk, it's stunt driving. There's a lot of stunt driving. Any intentional loss of traction, stunt driving. All of them come with the same immediate roadside suspension and seizure of your vehicle for impoundment. If you get convicted of the stunt driving, there are additional suspensions. I think it's 1 to 3 years on your first conviction for losing your license, and every time you get subsequent convictions for that, you can even get to the point of a lifetime ban on driving. So it's not new, but there have been changes as of September. I keep wanting to see September 20. I'm reversing the numbers. September 12th, 2021. That is when the law changed most recently. It was updated. It also includes private property. So if you are doing anything stunt driving on private property, we can now lay charges there, where it used to be only on the highway. So things you may not have known, and now you do, and are probably less happy about, because that really bothers people. The whole Private Property Highway Traffic Act, how does that work? There were always charges that were eligible to be laid on private property, but now stunt driving is specifically one of them. But let's say cell phones. We can't lay that charge on private property, must be on the highway. So it depends on each law. Everything is different for everything. Okay. Why do the police not stop cars for peeling license plates? Well, we do. We just don't focus on it. That's not the priority. We don't want to tie ourselves up dealing with every license plate that we see, although we would be writing tickets till our hands cramped, because everyone seems to not care about this. License plate frames, covers, and peeling plates are a huge issue. However, our focus remains on the stuff that leads to serious injury and death on our roads. So we're going to always focus on speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving first. And if nothing else is going on, then we can take that. Or if we get somebody for that, then we'll also get them for their other stuff. But it would be, I don't want to say inappropriate, but based on how poor the driving is that is risking life, it would be wrong for me to focus on peeling plates instead of doing something else. If I'm on my way and I catch something, great, but I don't want to set up I'm going to do today peeling plates all day long. No, I'm going to do stuff that's there to save lives and make the road safer. And if I happen to catch one of the plates on the way, great, but it's not the focus of my activities. And that's what I want to say. Yes. Okay. How does it work when you have a license outside of Canada? Do you only need a G1 done? If you have a license from somewhere else and you're visiting, you can likely drive here on that. Depends on where your license is from, but not 99.99% of places will be honored here. If you move here or stay for an extended period of time, let's start with the extended period of time. If you are here for, I think, 3 months and you are visiting long-term, you need to have a international driving permit issued by your home country. That's going to be something, especially if your driver's license is in another language. That's going to be required. Check before you travel. That's the biggest thing, because you can't get one issued after you get here. So you need to know before you go. Now, if you've moved here, and I'm assuming you're a resident here now, because you're talking about a G1. Once you move here and you are a resident of Ontario, whether you're here as a temporary student or you're moving here forever, once you are a resident here, you are required to apply for an Ontario license within 60 days. That's also changed the ownership or the plates of your vehicle registered here if you have one. Now, if you don't do that, your license is no longer valid. We're no longer accepting your license from your home country. Additionally, once you apply for your G1, you are no longer permitted to use your home license. You instantly are a G1 and only a G1. Now, if you come from a country that allows straight trades, like UK, for instance, if you come here with a UK license, I believe you can just trade it. Boom. USA, trade it. Boom. Done. No testing required. But if you're being required to apply for a G1 because they won't honor your home license, you need to start as a G1 and go through all of the stuff. And if you drive with something else, know that you are likely not going to be insured and you are going to get charged for driving without a license. So that's a bad day at the office. Hey, I just covered this. How long can you drive in Canada with a foreign license? It depends. It depends on what your status is. If you're a resident, 60 days. If you are visiting, longer. Leah Goodis has a question in the Q&A. I'll come to that in just a second. Is it true that you have quotas to fill every month? No, it's not true. We don't have quotas. It is a common misconception, but that's it. It is just a misconception. Okay. Michael Bradley has a question. Let's go back here. Let's see if I can actually get the audio to work.
In terms of police.
Oh no, it's a text. Is it true if I get a classic plate for my classic car, I can drive it on Sundays and to car shows, or is that a rumor? Oh, I see here. It's the insurance. It's not the plates, it's the insurance. So if your vehicle, I think, is 30 years old, you qualify for classic plates. If you get classic car insurance on it, though, that's basically you're agreeing to only take it for ice cream runs. Like I looked at this for my old Jeep I had, and if I had plated it as a classic vehicle and insured it as a classic vehicle, yeah, it was going to cost me like nothing to insure, but they want to tell you you must say that you're not driving it for work purposes, business purposes. You're driving it for ice cream was literally the wording they used. Occasional to car shows. And so it's not a rumor. It's not because the plates prevent you from doing it. It's that your insurance prevents you from doing it. And then the question from Leah says, what do you do if a car suddenly stops in front of you to let a pedestrian cross when there's no stop sign or crosswalk? How would you know they are not just pulling over? Yeah, this is unsafe. People do crazy things. It's one of the reasons we don't use our lights and sirens unless it's absolutely necessary, because we turn them on, people just hammer the brakes and stop. Not good driving. You know what? Pedestrians need to wait until it's safe to stop. And if you are behind someone who is slowing down and stopping, you don't know why they're stopping, so assume there's something in front of them, because that would be the safe way to go. If you decide you're going to pull around them and just keep moving, and then you smoke the pedestrian, that's a bad day for you. So you need to assume something's going on, and then if nothing's going on, you don't see anything, then we don't know why they've stopped. You need to very carefully pass them. But you're taking a major risk when someone just stops. Pedestrians need to wait until it's safe to go. So when someone just stops for no reason, bad things happen. Bad things happen. Okay. What is this? Ryan Pinn says, let's say there's a freight liner filling your rear mirror and hitting the brake would earn you a 40-ton suppository. Would you still get a red light ticket? No. That's one of those things, Ryan, where we talk about if it would be unsafe to proceed. Yeah, if someone's right on your butt and there's no way to safely stop, we're not expecting you to stop on an amber light. That's one of those reasonable things where a big truck is right on your butt. Yeah. Ryan follows up with saying, in Nova Scotia, a country In Nova Scotia, a country that doesn't get a straight trade for a license will be issued a Class 5 R46, which means they have to have a supervising driver until they pass a government road test. Oh, very interesting. That's where we get into every province has different rules. So they have a specific way. Now, is a 5R a learner's permit, or is that a 5R46 specific to somebody who just needs to do a road test? Like you're going to be supervised at how you do it in Nova Scotia, and then they get a full license after that. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay. 10 minutes to go. All right. Do the police carry a device to determine if you are impaired by alcohol? Why take them to a station? That's a fantastic question. So we have something called a roadside screening device. It is not the instrument that we have at the station. It gives a test that allows you to have the grounds to then make a breath demand back at the station if you don't already have grounds, and then you would take them before a breath tech, who is a more highly qualified officer in the testing for alcohol, and an instrument that is considered a scientific instrument that is far more accurate, and that is what is used for court. So our roadside screening device, I have one close by, it's over there, that gives you enough to get them to the station. It's not enough for court. So depending on whether we're using mandatory alcohol screening, which is new as of 2018 in Canada, where we can ask anyone without suspicion of alcohol in your blood. It used to be that we had to have a belief that you had, or a suspicion that you had alcohol in your system by way of consumption. You've told us you've consumed it, you admitted it, or we smell it. But now everyone can be compelled to provide a test, and if you fail or refuse to provide a test on demand, it's the same as failing the test. You'd be charged, lose your license. Okay. And not every officer carries that, although it would be nice if everyone did. Who pays for damage if an e-bike hits your car and they don't pay insurance? Well, that's also a fantastic. Wait, these are good zingers. The deal is that your vehicle insurance would pay for your vehicle, and that's very controversial, because if they hit you and they're at fault, should they pay? And you might be able to sue them, and I hope that you do, but because a lot of these riders are modifying their vehicles and should be insured, but that's a whole different situation. In any case, your vehicle will cover you for damages, and then whether your company or you decide to sue them is a different story. Okay. What if a manual rolls back and they hit the car behind? Is it way too close? What is this? What if the manual rolls back and the car behind is way too close and you hit the car? Generally speaking, you're responsible for everything your vehicle does. So if you roll back because you're not a skilled driver, then you're going to be responsible, even though they're too close. Give people space. I say make sure you have your escape route, and Ryan Pinn will likely agree. You need an escape route because you never know. This is why you need to be focused on driving at a stop, not on your phone, aside from the fact that it's illegal. You actually don't want to be doing that, aside from legal, because you want to be paying attention to what's coming up behind you by looking behind you in the mirror, and you want to be able to utilize that escape route if you need to. Someone who's asleep at the wheel and just gets hit by the car behind them, or has the vehicle in front of them roll back, that's just because you didn't do much planning. And it may be reflected in the report, but ultimately you're responsible for the movement of your vehicle. You roll backwards and hit them. It's on you. Is it across Canada or just Ontario? Mandatory breath testing? It is Canada-wide. That's Criminal Code of Canada. MAS is what it's referred to, and it was as of 2018 where police officers anywhere in the country can employ this. They've been doing this for years and years in Australia and other countries. It is fantastic because it means that we can say every single person we stop, we can have a breath test done, which means that we're not picking and choosing. We're not waiting to find out. We have a much higher rate of catching impaired operators. So that's it. Also, they're often utilized to catch drivers who are providing or are over the minimum. So if you're a G2 driver and you have more than 0 BAC, so anything in your bloodstream, you're going to get a suspension based on that. So it's fantastic, and we use it a lot. Really helped out during the pandemic as well, because we weren't sniffing people's breath. Because we used to just stick your head right in the car and go, "Any drinking tonight?" It's not good. Then there's bad breath and all sorts of things, but whatever. Cool. 6 minutes. I have not talked about the most magical of magical things, which is discussing the fact that we have a Harley-Davidson raffle coming up really, really soon. You need to get your tickets if you want a chance to win. It supports the fine folks at Special Olympics Ontario. HarleyRaffle.ca is the website, and that will give you that opportunity to buy one of the 7,000 tickets available. I don't know how many are left, but one ticket for 23 for 50. Get your chances to win a brand new Harley-Davidson, a beautiful motorcycle, not just because I sat on it and I now feel like I want to win, which is why I got to buy more tickets. My friend won last year, and we've had a whole bunch of motorcycles given out over the last number of years, and it's fantastic. So if you like bikes, or even if you don't like bikes, you just want to be a good human being and support a great cause, that's the way to do it. And you could end up winning a motorcycle worth over $30,000. And if you don't like bikes, you can sell it. Buy a Honda Civic or something. Just saying. We're going to wind down because at 11 a.m. we are going to, we're going to turn this off. We're going to come back another day. Oh, did anyone see the song called The Traffic Song? Do I have it here? Can I play it for you? I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to play it for you in a really low-tech kind of way. Oh, can I do this? This is going to mess it up? Maybe I can play it for you here. How can I do this? I want to play you the traffic song. The traffic song is something we played on the radio this weekend. I mean, it's on our TikTok, and it was a TikTok before it was anything else. And I think it's really fun. I meant to save it. Did I save it? Maybe I can do it here. Hang on a second. As I do some low-tech stuff, I'm going to mess with some audio here. Can you still hear me? Okay, I'm going to try change. No, it's not worth it. I want to play the traffic song. Go check out the traffic song. It's on our TikTok page. I think it's so fun. One of our officers who's in our CIB wrote it and performed it, and I recorded it, and it's awesome. We played it on the radio, and we all had a good laugh. Not because it's laughing at her. It's really catchy. So if you want to check out the best new ditty, check it out. It's lots of fun. I'm worried that if I log into TikTok on my personal phone, that I'm going to cancel the live, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to kick you off. I'm going to kick you off in 4 minutes, but not before then. If anyone did hear it, let me know. Oh, come on, let's do this. Did I get my password right? No. Oh, can I just use my finger? No. There we go. All right, I'm bringing my computer over here. And I don't need that. I just want to go into bounces. Because it's on, I did this turned it into an MP3, I think. Where'd I store it? Oh, it's in there. It's in music. Okay, we're going to play it. Here we go, traffic song.
Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get freed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I had so much fun with that. We recorded it in here on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. And I got to, I asked the folks at Zoomer Radio to play it. So when we were on the air on Saturday, that's what we did. We played that as one of the intros back, I think. And it's just awesome. And apparently I'm almost out of hard drive space. What is going on here? What is it doing in the background that I'm almost out of air? Well, apparently I need to dump some old files. So that was it. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to set that up. I think we're going to use that as a regular jingle on the show. What do you think? I think it'd be good. We got a lot of positive. That's great. What did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. Are we not hearing me? Blade Runner wants to know, what did I do? Okay. It is not Aaron Urquhart singing. That is Di. She's a CIB detective constable. And you can find her on her channel on Instagram called Yukin a Took. And she puts out a song every day. But I think that's awesome. And Night Driver says that's the great intro. I love it. Needs a saxophone solo. Are you a saxophone? I'm going to put it up so that people can actually duet it. Maybe if you are a musician, you can duet that. It's available now you could duet it now. But we've even got one where you can, some other stuff we're going to play with. We'll have a lot of fun. It's all about fun. All right. 11 o'clock. Let's start the countdown. The funky music countdown. We'll be back tomorrow with a special guest. I'll let you decide or guess as to who that might be. But he might be the big boss, like the big boss. And assuming nothing changes, he'll be here in studio. And we'll be taking questions. I'm going to promote a whole bunch of stuff about what's happening tomorrow. Have some phone calls to confirm that it's really going to happen. But I'm excited about it. And it also means I need to tidy up because if he's here, it's got to look like not like it looks now. I got coffee cups I got to throw out. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., well, unless we start early. We might do a 9:30 thing. Just saying. Be ready. Be ready in case. But have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Ten, 9, 8,
Big countdown.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rob Baker, I don't know the answer to your question about undercover stuff. I've never done it. Don't expect that I will. But I'll have to ask somebody who knows stuff about undercover stuff. Leo wife, love you. See you later. It's my wife. I'm not just randomly calling out that I love people.